again.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the technical problems. You know, all these new online events are new for us, but okay, we're here. We've got 2 sessions today through WeConnect and through Zoom. Depending if your internet is not working, you can come in Zoom. Otherwise, you can be in weconnect.com/live and you can follow the session from there. So welcome to Foodture 2020, Sci-Fi Food from food design to design fiction, and welcome to the first roundtable called Social Crisis Food Solutions: How to fix problems from the past with ideas from the future. And to talk about these topics, we have 4 speakers who join us today. Please, all speakers can put your camera and your micro on. We have Francesc Terns from the NGO Health Warriors. We have Juan Umbert from the Social Cooperative. I think I say it good now. Food for Good. We have Pablo Urbano from Auara, a social enterprise. And finally, we have Julián Bermúdez, who is an agro-food system researcher. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
As you can see, I'm surrounded by mail today. Before we start the conversation, I'm going to pass to Ignacio de Juan Creix to explain a little bit what is sci-fi food and what are we going to talk about this roundtable.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us today. I'm going to take out the mask. Sorry if I'm doing wrong. The thing is so what paper we have as a society to work now with the solutions that we should put on the table. So my task today will be with the opinion of the lab of innovation that is working on that field, understanding how to help to protect the ecosystem through advertising. So I want to pass the word to Pablo Urbano now because I think his project is touching something related to that point. How can regenerative advertising can help the system? How can a brand can protect the earth? Thank you, Pablo, for being with us. I let you the word. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Nacho. Thank you, Ana. And thank you, Foodture, for inviting me to that amazing chat. And thank you, Esco, to Juan and Francesc and Julián. I'm very happy to be here. And well, yeah, as you said, Nacho, Auara burns in a different way as another enterprises. Auara burns for a simple reason, to give access to clean water to people who don't have today, because there are 700 million people in the world that doesn't have access to clean water. And imagine a day without water. Maybe today you wake up and go to the bathroom and there is no water, and then you cannot prepare your coffee or even taking a shower. So I think that water is necessary for everyone and for every day. And also water is necessary to develop a life. Water creates opportunities, because if you don't have water, like women and children are in charge to fetching that water to the family, so they cannot go to school or doing other things in their daily life. So imagine how important is water in every day. Also, according to the UN, up to 80% of the diseases are spread by drinking dirty water in those countries. So it's very basic law for everyone. And that's why Auara burns. We want to develop another way of enterprise, like we see how the enterprise revolution. The enterprise, in my opinion, should burn for a human or a sustainable reason, not only an economic reason. And in Auara, instead of setting up an NGO, we start an enterprise that invests 100% of the profits in those water projects. Profits that we generate by our work, by selling products in Spain, like this mineral water brand and this refreshment, Selvan and Oceana, and Auara is the name of the mineral water brand. And we do not give money to an NGO. We collaborate, we participate in the projects with the local people. Also, we want the consumers, our consumers, to get involved in those projects, thanks to the QR system, and thanks a lot of information that we have in our social media and in our website. We want to involve our consumers and participate these consumers in the water project that know with very detailed information how are we impacting together. And also why it's special, because our products are not plastic. We are 100% recycled plastic that already exists in the nature, because there are other brands that consumes virgin plastic. So we take that from the trust and we recycle it again to put in as a second life products. And also the refreshments are made by ecological ingredients and fair trade ingredients. And it's very special how a simple brand, we were the first brand in Europe that used 100% recycled plastic, no? And how we change other way of producing to other brands, other giant brands. I think it's so amazing in only these 4 years of life. In these 4 years, we carry out more than 80 projects in 17 countries, giving access to clean water to more than 52,000 people. Only in these 4 years, and we recycled more than 280 tons of plastic. And this is just the beginning. This is our first 4 years, and we want to develop more products, more countries, achieve more cities, and well, we are very happy to be here and spread the word. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pablo. This is so interesting. We're actually going to get in detail over the roundtable, but this is a super inspiring project, and it's working. It's working. You say that you've been on the field for 4 years already, right? On the market? Nice. A lot of success. So we're going to continue with Francesc Terns from the NGO Health Warriors. Hello, Francesc. You have like 2-3 minutes to present yourself and your work. Thank you.
First of all, thank you to all of you for the invitation and to share the panel with Juan, Julián, and Pablo. I think I'm going to be quick, not as Pablo, because we are so young. The other day we made to the 7 months. We were born with the COVID crisis, with coronavirus crisis, and I had a restaurant, and the 13th of March I closed. I closed the doors because they sent us home. So I said, so if a restaurant can be open but they send us home, I'm gonna go home again. I'm gonna go home like everyone. So what I did, I stayed 2 days at home thinking what to do, and I went to Instagram. I saw a post on Instagram about Madrid, Food for Heroes, that is an initiative that made a lot of impact in Madrid, as Pablo knows. And I wanted to do it in Barcelona because no one was delivering food to the hospitals in Barcelona. And I started like that. I opened an Instagram account and I started sending messages to everyone. Because I was no one. I was just an Instagram account. And it exploded. It was crazy. It was so crazy, and we had around 150 restaurants and 50 brands during this process that help us feed the frontliners or the people that were working at the hospitals. But at the end of April, we saw that was slowing down the coronavirus crisis in the hospitals, and we thought that we had to change our focus. And we saw that families were struggling a lot of families, and we decided to try to impact them, to try to help them as much as we were helping the hospital. So going to the streets and doing and collaborating with associations that were feeding families and that needed the most. So since May until yesterday, we've been helping them a lot. we nonstop. Yeah. And for us, it's an honor, because we were nobody. We were just an Instagram account, but since July, middle of July, we are a non-profit organization, because we are here to stay. We just not, when the coronavirus crisis leaves, we are not going to leave, because there is a lot of consequences behind coronavirus, and we think that we have to be close to these families, to people, that vulnerable people, that they don't have anything right now. They lost everything because of it. So basically, because of that, we are going to stay. And that I say we, because behind Health Warriors there are a lot of people. I'm not just myself as the beginning. There are a lot of people, and it's a big family that through these 7 months we built together, and I'm so happy and honored that be part of it. And that's it. And I think Juan is gonna talk now.
Thank you so much, Francesc. So we're talking about a social solidarity network that helped to build Health Warriors in like super fast to try to stop a huge crisis that was the coronavirus, but still going, and it seems that it's going to go longer. So your work is going to be really important over this time. Thank you so much. Juan Umberto, Food for Good. Your turn now. You were born inside the coronavirus crisis, right? In March as well?
Yeah, the same way as Francesc did. We were working hand by hand during all the crisis. They still continue doing an amazing job. We stopped a little bit because we want to grow the ecosystem a little bit in the back, but for sure. So I came from the part of Food for Good. As Francesc says, we are also a collective of people. We are now a social cooperative with non-profit aims that started like a solidarity kitchen. We started in a restaurante Tierra from Barcelona, and we collected many chefs and many people around the gastronomy ecosystem, because we saw the 23rd of March, we started looking the vulnerable collectives that they were on the streets, because you cannot get confined at house if you don't have a house. So because of that, we started speaking with the ecosystem. We discovered Health Warriors, this amazing initiative that was giving food to the hospitals and to some families. And we started speaking with the different people, because I did that as a co-founder with Guillem Solé, that we work on the same company, Make It. And we started speaking with many people which ones we work with. So we started on a Tuesday, and Wednesday we were giving 50 meals for these vulnerable collectives. And this started it was like crazy. It was an electromagnetic project where everyone, Nacho itself, BCD as well, was giving us a lot of help. Health Warriors, Auara was bringing us amazing water. So we did like this amazing collective of people helping the others. And we stayed 2 months, more or less 10 weeks, giving food, giving meals, giving healthy products to all these people that couldn't get that so easy that days. And from now we are thinking about building up a kitchen. Building up is like Francesc and Pablo. No, we don't give up now. We want to keep helping. So we are organizing a long-term project with many different collaborators and providers to be able to support all these collectives and as well every one of us. So that's what we are, and thank you so much for inviting us. It could be a pleasure sharing this roundtable.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Juan.
Thank you.
Really amazing work. Well, Nacho was involved. But...
So I'm before we give the word to Julián, I'm gonna say that our task in the agency, it's also to help you guys. So at the end, we with our clients, we were like getting as much product as we were capable to connect to you. At the end, we are a chain. We are all humans. We are here to work all together. And the pandemic thing is not something to forget. It's something really to analyze how we can do that steps together. We are creating a new kind of brands, and maybe now it's it's really important to make some data that Julián could share with us. So I let the word to Julián. Julián, welcome.
Hi, Nacho. Hi, Ana. Hey, Juan, Francesc, and Pablo. It's a pleasure to be here with you. It's so inspiring to hear all of your efforts and projects. I'm going to share my screen now, guys. Start with this presentation. Okay, so this is what we like to call the path to a sustainable, holistic agri-food system that promotes opportunities for all. Climate change is probably the greatest threat that we're facing. It must be addressed in conjunction with the different sectors. Agri-food systems encompasses natural resource as the key to the planet's resilience and our surviving. Through an inductive analysis based on research, articles, and disruptive innovation, we aim to highlight what are the different roles to play. Identifying that value chain brings systematic solutions for actors involved. It is a holistic opportunity to emphasize joint value between disruptive innovation and ancestral wisdom that can provide many inputs. What are we going to eat is probably a question that humans began to consider a long time ago. Particularly, we can verify that it has been one of the big changes in history. Now, how far from the security line we have passed? Is the current food system a driver of illness? Should be probably today's main concern. Both sides of the coin face terrible realities, whether for abundance or for lack of it nowadays. The type of diet is one of the major causes of disease. In one hand, around 800 million people worldwide suffer from hunger, and at the other hand, is even worse. Overweight and obesity is a reality for more than 2 billion. If we take a look at the stages of the nutrition transition, we could fit a lot of the already mentioned and connect some dots. And I just want to mention the pattern number 5 and facts like the reduction in carbs, sugar, and healthy fats, and the increase of fruit and vegetables. And if we analyze this with the evolution of human experience with food, we would understand why it's so important to change the pattern of ultra-processing type of diets. If we want to answer this question, we could do it while contemplating a plate of food. Today, our diets can be hypercaloric, ultra-processed, oversaturated with sugars, and with large amount of meat. They can overreach the necessary calories intake per day. The variations depends on location, country, economy, or food security factors, and other factors that make a difference, such as the deployment of short chains that facilitate both availability, procurement capacity, and promote the level of food sovereignty. Let's analyze some of the factors of food systems and their relation along the value chain, like natural ecosystems, which are being put under a lot of pressure. Processing, packaging, transportation, and waste are some of the factors as well. In order to come to the big picture, start here, measuring the biomass. Humans represents only the 0.01%. Plants regards as 82%, and animal kingdom account as 0.4%. The around 8 billion inhabitants that we just said represents only that 0.01% are responsible for activities like global trade, consumption, and population growth. All of these has caused 83% of the loss of wild mammals and around half of the plants. But livestock abounds. 60% of mammals are livestock, cattle and pigs mostly, 30% are humans, and only 4% are wild mammals. 70% of birds are chickens and other poultry, and only 30% are wild birds. This clearly represents a forcing in the balance between the species. This is without making any mention into the whaling industry, forcing the loss over 80% of marine life. In addition to packaging, distribution, and logistics, among other visible factors, a large amount of greenhouse gas are generated. Food production is responsible for 1/4 of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. The environmental impacts of food and agriculture could be measured all over the food value chain, and these rise up to the 26% of total global emissions, as we just mentioned. So here is where we must put a lot of efforts and find solutions. We can spend a lot of time analyzing the different relations in between, but what is most important to mention here is that some of solutions could come from our choices in terms of menu selection, type of diets, and how we prevent food waste and how we close circles. Regardless of whether you consider that food should be based on some type of animal protein or a type of protein-based diet, keep in mind that the two models warrant a review of their dynamic. This is called the foods in the Anthropocene, nutritionally healthy and suitable for both us and the planet. These are the planetary and healthy limits. This is basically a diet based on more products of plant origin. Although there is not yet a planetary council in terms of the definition of this type of diet, since it will depend on, again, the bioregion, climate, soil status, production possibilities, public-private wills, and very important of civil society level of involvement, assessment of rural and indigenous communities' production, and actions as more resilient society.
Julián, sorry.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit louder? Because we're having some people having some trouble to hearing you.
Okay, this is better
perfect.
For you guys?
That is perfect. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry. You should tell me before. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I've heard you.
Okay. So we continue with that. We might think that there are many of us to feed properly. However, today we already produce more food that we consume, and we throw away an important part of this production. It is not only how we do to ensure proper distribution and thus give the ones to the ones, that are suffering from a poor diet or hunger, but how we do to rebalance and prevent more people from dying today from causes associated with overfeeding. And this is what we do at Platt Institute. We imagine a timeline. We like to think like time travelers and position ourselves in a different distant futures and analyze those scenarios. And for just to mention one, we have the common goal to achieve 2050 zero emissions. And for that, we need to decarbonize the economy. This passed by decarbonize our agri-food systems. And as we saw the great food transformation, food is the single strongest lever to optimize human health and environmental sustainability on Earth for healthy diets and sustainable food production. Within the framework of planetary boundaries and health boundaries food systems, 2050 will require worldwide consumption of red meat and sugar to reduce by more than 50%, and consumption of nuts, fruits, legumes to increase by 100%. For do that, we cannot wait until 2049 and just decide to change our model. We already have the first common goal until 2030, the decade of action, to accomplish the SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals. So if we start right now and push forward in less than we thought, we will see the change. We are going to feel the change on the planet too. We will see biodiversity that will grow along with the sustainable improvements, will thank us to be more connected with them. So back to you, Anna and Nacho.
Okay, thank you so much, Julián, for this perspective. You've talked about processing, food waste, circularity, economy cities. If we talk about social crisis food solutions, the topic could be huge. We could be talking for decades, but we don't have time for it. So basically, we're going to talk about three main issues, which is environment, health, and social inequalities related to food. I'd like to start for the first one, environment, how the actual system can no longer exist the way it is, and why, what Juan, Francesc, Julián, and Pablo, can you address the situation from your actions? I can give the word to Juan.
Yeah, could be perfect. So when we are speaking about the environment, what we think after the project, we are thinking about optimizing the resources. For example, once we enter on the social dynamics of Barcelona, we started understanding that all the processes more or less were not in the best way done, because normally the social world, it's driven not easily as a company that is driving for people that has really clear what to do. So we find out many times where we were like shipping the food or doing some translations between companies, that the resources, I don't know how to say in English, like huella ecológica, like the ecological stamp, or the water as well, no, or the energy that we were taking was not as 100% squeezed as we could do. And for example, once we start working with Health Warriors, we were communicating everyone to be able to cover the maximum spectrum of people and not trying to cross information. We were speaking about giving food all the time. So this means packaging, this means logistics, this means human energy. So there are a lot of resources that we need to understand, as right now Julián said, no, we need to understand the whole ecosystem and then spread it in different parts to be able to optimize every one of them. So from the environmental part, this is what I think.
Yeah, it's if you want, I talk now. With Juan, it was so close a relation, and we were always talking about, if you have something that we don't use it, and you can use it, and you can give someone a meal with the food that we are not gonna be able to use. So I'll give him, because it's about not throwing away anything in this planet. The 35% of the food that we produce in this world is thrown away. So just starting by that, no one would be hunger again in this world. But I think that the problem starts with individuals. Like, we think about governments, about, yeah, they should do something, but the problem starts with every one of us. And if every one of us do something every day, small things can change. And you try to, talk with your friends, talk with your parents, with your family, and try to implement this in your daily basis. It's going to be a huge difference. And in this case, Pablo, they do an amazing job with the water. That's why I am a fan of the company, because I think they did an amazing thing. Changing the world of water, and this is my opinion about environmental issues and stuff. So Pablo, if you want to continue.
Yes, thank you. I completely agree with both of you. For sure, yeah. For me, the environment starts in individuals as a consumers, because when you consume, when you buy a product, you are making an election, you are making an impact also. So it depends on which product are you buying, you are making more pollution or less. So I think it's for sure it's something that is related for the individual ecosystem also. And then if we change as individuals or as a consumers, we're going to change the enterprise, we are going to change the governments. I think the starts is in us. And also, yes, as an enterprise of mineral water, that maybe it's against sustainability enterprise or product, we are inside the ecosystem and changing it. We are the first brand, as I said, in Europe that uses 100% of recycled plastic, and no one's used it in that moment. And it's crazy, like 25 people, 25 old years are changing the way of bottling water. So it's crazy, and for sure is depending on us.
Julián, would you like to add something else to this point?
Yeah, great, thank you. I love what my colleagues from the panel mentioned, because this is quite important. I mean, we have different dimensions to solve the problem. Of course, we have the government and the private sector, but I think that And that's why we are here in this social crisis and food solutions table, because we have a lot of power to do a lot of change. I mean, normally people think that only have control of the food waste and separate well or compost. Just a small change, you're going to make a big impact, you know. And we are a lot of people, and with a lot of small change, we can change this. I mean, one of the most important driver to do this change is the mindset. We do not need to wait for governments or private companies to come here to tell us how to change our mindset. I think that we already have seen what happened with the world and the biodiversity and ecosystems when we stop for a few months some of our activities. A lot of change already happened. So I think that this is the power to, as a society, start doing this small but very important change.
So this morning we had the Inventors of Tomorrow talk, and tomorrow you're going to have the Future of Water. And in these tables, well, tomorrow they're going to talk about new materials, but this morning we have the students who are already working new materials. Like I can say that we all agree that nowadays, do we have options to use like technology for new searches, for new packaging? Do you guys find it easy in your area of work to find this kind of new materials? Do you think there's a lot of work still to do? Do you think we should connect the inventors of tomorrow with the present companies? Nacho, you have also lots of things to say here.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, we have to work together. There's like the science department and a lot of companies offering solutions for today, but maybe the solutions that we need to think about, they are not in a global way. They should be through territories, because every territory creates the waste that could be the matter or the product for creating the packaging. So we need to work in parallel, no, with a global perspective, but local actions. And I think that allows us to offer a different solution. So I don't think we have one material for everything. I think we really need to go through the waste that we create as countries, and through that molecules try to build new products for our packagings or systems or products. That's what I believe. But maybe the question of Anna was, there's a solution for you guys for bioplastic. There is easy to find solutions for you for the social crisis and the health warriors and food for good, all the packaging that you were offering. So it's easy to find the most ecological one. What do you think about it? Juan.
Go, Juan.
Thanks, Francesc. So under our point of view, for sure, there are more and more possibilities, no, that technology and innovation brings to the table. Otherwise, it's much more expensive. For example, imagining that we ship 1,200 meals every day, no? So that means 1,200 packagings just for the meal, then the bottle of water. So there are a lot of resources that you need to analyze really well, so you can understand which is the impact that you do. But for sure, as Pablo, no, we always will try to use the most sustainable and optimal resources. But as Nacho was saying now, this is a matter of territory, because as well as we are connected with Plaid or different companies, once we are trying to analyze the different compose of materials, you speak with engineers, with designers, with fab labs, with a different kind of people that together can bring this solution. And as well, for example, in Food for Good, Auara was telling us water a lot. Francesc and I were sharing things. So this is the collaborative ecosystem. So you won't be lack of resources, and you can like go with this, I don't know, with this mind mapping to everyone and share.
Everyone would like to add something else? To add something else?
I think that Juan said it so good. I think we were like brothers during this pandemic, so we share the same ideas.
Okay.
Yes, for us in the world of the water bottling, I think little by little they appear new resources, as you said, Nacho. The bioplastic is not industrialized nowadays, but I think they are developing very fast, and I hope in the next months or the next year we will see bioplastic in a way of industrial amount of tons of plastic that we need. And little by little, as I said before, it depends on ourselves and in the enterprise, and also the governments should move this kind of plastic to develop it in a faster way.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, well, we're solving problems today that we already have 10 years ago. So again, if we want to address different outcomes or different futures, even in just a few years ahead, we need to start changing things right now. And if we put this question over the energy sector, we already have solar energy and a lot of different sources that we can start using right now, and we already have it for a long time with us. You know, it's just that we can understand what we have and what is the most important use of some of these resources in order to bring balance to nature. You know, even if we find the best resource for an organic source or yes, organic source, we need to put a lot of attention of how we're going to bring these materials to our production. So it's very important that we thought that as well, that those are related to our choices, but our choices depends of the companies that we want to buy products, and as well the governments that we have. And I don't know if you have heard this campaign that vote with your fork. You know, we need to understand what are the politicians doing for our food systems, our natural resource, and the things that matter for us, not only for the next 4 years. You know, we need people to think that in 100 years, how we're going to solve the problem. I am not living in the earth that I am inherited from my ancestors. I am living in the earth that I want to leave from my niece or your daughters or your sons or the next generations, you know, so we need to change that mindset as well.
Thank you so much. We will actually go to the specifics at the end of the talk, but before that, I'd like to go to the second issue, the second topic, that would be health related to food. As Julián was saying, there's like two main issues in the same moment, overweight and hunger in the same country. Let's talk about a little bit about that, because I know Juan and I know Health Warrior that you guys are working on giving healthy menus to the people. How important in this? How can we address, how can we do that everyone has access to a healthy diet? Because this is a right from the United Nations. So how is your ideas, your work helping to build this?
It's hard. It's hard right now. It's so hard because we have no money for it. So we have to partner with entities that they support us, that they wanna give us fresh products to cook. In our situation now, we are cooking every Friday. We cook around 300 meals for people that are on the streets, and at the same time, we started a project with Danone, a company here in Spain, that we are delivering 5,000 boxes with healthy food to 5,000 families. But we need the cooperation of the companies behind. Otherwise, it's impossible to try to deliver fresh food to everyone. During the pandemic, we had the problem that we had not as healthy as we wanted food, but at the time was what we had. And we had to accept everything. Every donation that we got, we accepted, because people was hungry, and it's better give something that is not as healthy as we think, but people, if it's hungry, it's food. But our our focus is on delivering healthy food to everyone that we can get to. It's hard because there are a lot of people thinking about going to the associations and because there is this stigma behind that if I go to ask for food, but now people don't have anything. The stigma is out, and everyone is going to the associations, and there is a lot of need behind. But we try our best. We are so young, but.
Pablo, are you gonna add something?
Pablo, you gonna go?
If you want, Julián or Juan.
Okay.
Julián,
So,
yeah.
I love this question as well, because nowadays healthy diets is not only for us as well as for the planet. As you remember, one of the slides that I present, we have 2 axes, and both are like for a high impact, not only for us, but as well for the environment, and low impact for us and for the environment. So if we map all of these diets and products and type of diets that we can have, we need to understand where we need to be in order to be more healthy for us, this type of diets, but as well for the planet. And this is very important because we are not pointing here, no one. We're not saying that this product of, this type of meal are the bad ones or this company. No. We are trying to tell everyone that this is the chance and the opportunity to have, that we have to create more different products and employees, jobs, and a lot of opportunities to change the system that we already know that it's not working, So it's very important as well that if you want to have more healthy diets, well, get to know a farmer, go to your local farmers market, go to your kitchen and cook, spend some time with your friends, with your family. That is a very important social aspect that we can address now and understand the change from that point as well.
Pablo, what about water, access to water?
Yes, it's very important. Yeah, I want to emphasize on that because for sure we are thinking in developed countries, and for sure we have the opportunity to have a very proper diet, and we have access to a lot of different kind of food and ingredients and ecological farmers. And for sure, I completely agree with Julián that inform, but in the first step, meet a farmer or go to an agricultural farm or whatever. I think it's very important. And also in developing countries, the water is very important to have an agricultural system. Imagine if you are in the desert in the north of Ethiopia, if you are in the desert without any water, you cannot have an agriculture system or farmer or garden. And it's very important for us. The first step is to give access to clean water, but the second step is to together to develop a proper garden, to developing a proper diet, and for sure it's basic for everyone to have not only water, also to have a good diet, good food, to develop yourself. It's very important for us. And through the water, I think it's very important, and it's the way.
Yes, Pablo, I think you're right. Jumping just a little bit, because if we map our different type of food systems or the necessities from some communities regarding to their type of as well, the type of country that they live, if it's a developed or developing country, is very important to address that. Of course, we know that food needs to travel. I mean, we need to achieve food safety and food security and food sovereignty as well for a lot of people, everyone, everywhere. So it depends of regardless of the type of biodiversity or access to food that everyone has. Yeah, you're right, Pablo. Thanks for bringing that.
Yes, thank you, guys. I want to say something. There was someone asking that everything in the food ecosystem, it starts to decentralize. Then, so when a supplier gets affected, they don't affect to the whole food supply chain. What do you think about the centralization of everything?
So, for example, we saw that during this pandemic, a lot of farmers near Catalonia, near Barcelona, for example, in Maresme or in Prat, started gathering together. I mean, they started introducing their products into the online markets, for example, because in between 1 year ago, for example, how was everything done? The farmer did the corp went to a cooperative went to a commercial, the commercial went to a social market, market went to the final client, and the money weren't be like that. It was like step by step, so the farmers were the last mile, no? They started not giving their own products, so it's not everything in the same company or environment. If not, you can select points from different parts of the land, and this is really interesting now, because we are opening new opportunities for the people that really is taking care of our land. So I think it's a good opportunity, the online, the pandemic, and that we also do the importance of these people.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you centralize the power, you are the suppliers are lost, the consumers also are focusing only one partner, so they receive a lot of power, and they can push to the suppliers, and they can put the money or the price that they want. So if you decentralize, you know better, and you do not miss any margin through the way of the supplier to the direct consumer. Completely agree with Juan.
Yeah, I want to add as well that I love the concept of the decentralized, but as well it's very important that we thought in the sense of democratization of our food system, of our choices. You know, it's important to understand for us that again, we have a lot of power in the type of choices that we do. So if one of the two activities that we can do very powerful to address a change that now we're living in the decade of the action, where no one is left behind. It's first of all to get to know where the food is coming. I know it's important. Probably we do not how to grow a food, or if we do know how to grow food, we'll teach to one. So this is the first thing, to get more close or how the food is growth and where the food is coming from. And second, again, please cook and bring more activities into your kitchen. This is very important.
Thank you, Julián.
Thank you so much. And let's go to the final topic, which is social inequalities related to food. It's a huge topic. I know it's really huge, but I like to know, first of all, what do you guys think about that? And also, how would you address the situation in your area of work, sorry. Juan, go for it.
Thank you. So food is a human right? We all agree on that. I mean, it's not possible that the whole planet is bringing food to us, and there's a lot of people, for example, in Madrid or in Barcelona, there are more than 35,000 people every day asking for food. And this is incredible, because for us, as engineers or designers, we think of mathematics, and it's not possible that we throw 1/3 of the food production and there's 1/3 of population with starving. So this needs to be connected through companies, through collaboration, through things like this. We are rethinking how the things are done, and we need to make new proposals that together we can accomplish and kill that, because it's not well done. So we are here to rethink everything of that. And I am so grateful to Foodture that it's able to connect all these people to find new solutions that I think we are on the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'm with Juan. In this case, I'm with Juan because we saw it in first person when during the pandemic. A lot of people were contacting us. Look, we have products, we have everything, and you want it. So, but now that we are not at the top of the pandemic, we see a lot of people on the streets and they are treated really bad. That's why the inequality of there when you are poor, you don't have access on a healthy diet, a healthy food, and that's a problem because everything goes together. If you don't eat well, you don't feel well. You are imagine if you are in the street. So what we think in Health Warriors that we I mean, it's our goal is to try to feed as many people as possible, but with healthy food, because then they are gonna think positively and they are gonna try to be better. Because if you are on the street, it's so hard to be positive. And I think that the best thing is to look at them first, because some of them they just like think that they don't exist for a lot of people, and then treat them like humans and give them food and give them and treat them like they are someone and they can do something in this world. So this is like how we see it in Health Warriors. And as Juan said, eating cannot be a privilege. Eating has to be a social right, a right. It has to be universal. So this is how we see it, and this is how we are fighting every day to give food to everyone who needs.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Francesc.
super powerful words. Yeah, food is a human right, as you said, and it's crazy. I completely agree that it's not well doing. It's completely crazy that some amount of people who don't have access to proper food in Spain, for example, it's completely crazy. And the other word that more than 1/3 of the food in Spain is going to the basket. So it's completely nonsense. I think, yeah, it also depends on us and also Foodture. We pass the ball to you because you are a big speaker, and of course, it depends in all of us. And I think the technology could help us to connect all the different people and enterprise to connect and to take the advantage of the technology and to put in contact with different people. But of course, I agree with Francesc, it's very difficult. And it's very difficult to achieve these people, to ask them what they want. First of all, look to them and speak as a proper human. It's crazy because sometimes they appear like invisible, and it's completely nonsense again. Yeah. Also past in developing countries, I think the water is also a right, and 1 out of 10 people in the world doesn't have access to clean water. So we have a lot of work to do, and again, it depends on us, and we cannot look to the other side and avoid the problem. We have to face it and to solve it by ourselves. I completely agree with Juan, with a lot of power, and also Francesc and Julián, and we are us.
I think that some of the change passed for what we mentioned already. I mean, to decentralize and democratization of our food systems that give us the opportunity to bring, like, to at least to understand what are the issues and the problems in each country or each territory. For instance, well, just for mention something that World Food Program just won the Nobel Peace Prize, so congrats to them. I think that it will bring us a lot of light into these problems that we're facing. And it's important as well that we understand that even if you have a lot of power or money or incomes or possibilities to buy food, well, not all developed countries are feeding well. You know, we have a lot of difference in the type of diet that we have in these developed countries, you know. So it's important to understand that whether if it is for lack or for a lot of food, we need to solve these issues.
Yeah, thank you guys for your comments and your vision. For us, you are pioneers in this field, and we think how to help you guys. There was a lot of questions about how people can help you. That's one of the questions. And the other, we were, as the organization of Foodture, trying to offer all the talks for donations, and the donations are connected to your organizations. That's something important to say to the public and the audience. So we are here to help. We need to be a network of people designing and building the world that we want to live in. So I think there's a lot of work to do. And thank you for being with us. I pass the word to Anna to make some comments about.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask one little thing to Pablo, because everyone here has a different, Francesc has an NGO, is part of an NGO, Juan is part from a social cooperative, but Pablo has something that does not exist in Spain. He had to go to London, England, to know about the social enterprise. I'd like you to explain this, because I think it's very important for the public and for the other speakers that we have here to understand what a social company is, because I believe that makes you independent in terms of money. And well, I'd like you to explain it. I'm just going to shut up and you explain it.
Well, in only a few minutes, because it's 58. Well, a social enterprise, as you said, we have to go to England to certify what is a social enterprise. And a social enterprise is very easy. We sell some products, for example, in our case, it's mineral water brands or refreshments. And when 100% of the profits, we invest that profits to develop projects. This is our case, and we focus on water projects. And here in Spain doesn't exist the regulation that regulates this kind of enterprise. And we are a limited society as other businesses and other enterprise. But we put in the estatutos, I don't know which is the word in English, but I think you understand. We put that all of the stakeholders of the company wants to give or participate to fund these projects. There are other cases of social enterprise. For example, if you employ people with vulnerabilities or people with disabilities, it's also named as social enterprise. In basic terms, you not depends on donations. You with your work, selling your products or doing your services, you received an income, and then you put that income in your social focus on your social goal. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Now, we don't have much more time, so I'd like you to ask, you guys all talk about the individual actions make the change. So I'd like to maybe give the public, the audience, a couple of ideas of what they can do or how can they be part of the change. And yeah, Francesc?
Yeah, I go. So I think it in two ways. The first way, if you have time, you can donate your time because it's so powerful. You can just contact one of us or another organization that you feel part of it or you feel emotional related with. So you just contact them and you offer your time. It's so important for us that we are a nonprofit organization or for Juan that we need people, we need hands. Just by myself, I cannot do anything. So this is the first point. If you have time, you contact someone of us, and we are welcome you. We're more than welcome to accept you to help. And then if you don't have time but you wanna donate, we live with money too. We have to feed a lot of people, and it doesn't come from the air, the money and the resources. So if you don't have time but you want to donate, we are also welcome, because it's the perfect combination. people that have time and people that don't have time, but they have money and they want to donate. So I think it in these two ways.
Thank you. Let me remind you, in Foodture.Barcelona, we've got the section donations with all the projects related to the free talks, and Health Warrior is one of it, so tip it. And Food for Good as well. But Juan, go for it.
No, it's in the same way as Francesc was saying. Now we are looking for humans that get relation with emotions, with that they want to be involved helping other people, because we are humans helping humans in the final. So this is not related to governments. This is not related to nothing. It was like a crisis, and then we pop up like mushrooms, and then we start doing the collective and helping. So it's more thing. They are hands, they are money, but it's as well people with great ideas that they came into the table and see how we can connect together and get more and more improvements to the social ecosystem. That is something that we don't see every day, because it happened to me before founding with Guillem, Food for Good. It was something that you don't, you are walking on the street and you see some homeless over there, and you take care about it, but once it's real, they are starving, they are suffering, you get really stunned, no? And this is something to think about it, and the people needs to get involved with the society, because at least we are the same. So yeah, humans, minds, money, heart. That's it.
Thank you. Pablo?
Yeah, me, simple. Do things. Yes, only do things with love, smile to your partners, to your family, to the people that you live with, and the people you are seeing in the streets. It's hard now to see the smiles because of the faces of the mask, but for me it's very easy. Do things with love and smile. And if you want, you can see our projects and our products through our social media, for example, Instagram, Auara H2O, but for me, only smile and love.
Julián, you were talking about going to local markets. You were talking about specifics. Could you? What are your two recommendations for the audience?
Yes, I thought that we already talked about these recommendations. I just want to add that these guys are doing tremendous efforts. So if you want to volunteer, do that. I mean, even if you want to volunteer, clean up the beach, picking up plastics. I have done that in a lot of cities. I love to do that. Connect to a producers, go to a farm, and as well, an extra point, it's think in your own solutions. I know that there is a lot of people thinking in solutions that probably said, I don't have the tools, the methodology, the support to do that, but we are working as well in Plat and with another institutions to help people to bring their own solutions. So please start thinking and think globally and act locally.
Thank you so much, everyone. Nacho, would you like to add?
Just say thank you, and I will love to hear a plan with the government and you all guys working together.
Yes.
And I see in front of me pioneers, and that's the people that we should be connect. And just say thank you for the task that you are doing with all of our people, our neighbors, our old people, our young people. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Foodture is a platform of connection, is a platform of network. So let's keep in touch. Let's build the future together. And everyone, I'll see you tomorrow for the talks, for the workshops. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, family. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
See you.
Just to mention, guys, we have in a short period of time, we have the workshop of circular design with the amazing guys of Fab Lab. So stay tuned.